you didn't know it. Hey everybody, I'm Mike Gasior and this is my February video commentary. And I read in last Sunday's newspaper that the new trendy thing to have is a skating rink in your backyard. I've had this skating pond for 8 years. I didn't know how lucky I was. Maybe I'm actually turning trendy. And I know you can't read it on my hat here because of the bad reception on the internet. It says they're Levon Helm Band. I spent last Saturday night, and you guys know I love music, one of the best musical experiences of my life. Went up to Levon's house in Woodstock, New York, called the Midnight Ramble. Levon Helms' Midnight Ramble. If you're a music lover, if you ever have the chance, you got to do it. I think the website is levonhelm.com. It was amazing. But we're not here to talk about music. We're here to talk about finance. This month's topic, sort of a unique single product I want to talk about, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. The nickname is TIPS. They're not even 10 years old. They actually work pretty simple, but they create a lot of accounting and computer problems. And let me just explain. Let's do some remedial work. Remember one thing. People that buy bonds want one thing, a real rate of return, which is simply a rate of return above inflation. It's traditionally been the case that people that buy longer-term treasuries usually look for somewhere around, give or take, 3% above whatever inflation is. So, if inflation was running at 2.5%, longer-term treasury investors would look for about 5.5%. Again, give or take. And that's the risk when you buy a fixed-rate bond. If you buy it at a fixed rate and rates go up, well, you could have earned more money had you not invested. If rates go down, you have a very valuable bond on your hands. So I guess that's probably about 7 or 8 years ago now. I remember I was down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is a great little town. And they had just started these, and the first one they ever issued was a 5-year Treasury note. But it's one of these TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. Back then, when I'm talking about, you probably would have deserved somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6.5%, 6.75% yield on a 5-year Treasury. Well, listen to this. They issued this Treasury note with a 3 5/8% coupon, which would have sounded horrible, but that's not it. The 3 5/8, you get paid that in cash. And what that's supposed to represent actually is your real rate of return. But then what the U.S. Treasury does is every year increase your principal by whatever CPI, the Consumer Price Index, was that year. So let's say inflation's 3%, CPI, 3%. Well, you got 3 5/8 in cash, you got 3% increase in your principal, you made 6 5/8 altogether. And then the next year, you're going to earn the 3 5/8 on what's now $1,030, you know, given that the original par was $1,000. Now, that's simple. And it's a great way to keep yourself ahead of inflation at all times, if that's important to you. But here's sort of the weird thing. Up until that moment, there's really only 2 kinds of bonds in the world. You had bonds that paid interest, and then you had bonds like zero-coupon bonds where you didn't get interest, they just grew in value. They accrued the interest. But now you suddenly had this bond I described, this TIP, doing both. You're getting a coupon payment, but you're also getting this accrual. By and large, accounting systems can do this, it can do this, but it was and to this day, they still have a hard time doing both. And it's really sort of even hard to automate because we don't know what inflation is going to be. And as we all know, when humans need to get involved in processes that are usually automatic, the wheels of the corporate universe like grind to a halt, and lots of time is eaten up. I really can't offer you any great solutions to that problem. But if you're aware of them as one of these humans, you can maybe deal with them better. You want to hear a better one? Right about that same time, I had a client. Some of you that have been to my classes might remember this story. The company, the client, had bought, it was a Brazilian bond issued by a Brazilian corporation, and as you would expect, denominated in Brazilian real, which is Brazil's currency unit. But it had a split coupon on it. Half the coupon was paid in cash, so cash payments, but the cash that you got paid in was US dollars. The other half of the coupon was an accrual, so you were getting more par value, but the new par value was in German Deutschmarks. So here you got a bond with its original face in real, you're getting dollar cash flows, and new par accruing in Deutschmarks. When you come in the morning and that's waiting on your desk, it's usually, you know, I was going to quit anyway, so, you know, how about I just grab my stuff and, like, get out of here? And don't even ask me, you know, Mike, why would they come up with such a thing? I don't drink that much. I don't know. But anyhow, that's our lesson for the month. I'm going to go do a little bit more skating because it's about the only thing I'm really enjoying about this 0-degree weather snap. I hope you guys are all well. I'll be back next month, and hopefully the weather will be warmer, and we'll talk about something else. You take care.